Investor, businessman, shareholder, philanthropist and financier, which is nicknamed the Miracle of Omaha. This all is Warren Edward Buffett. What was his path to success and wealth? When did he become a billionaire? And what were his steps to achieve his success? I will answer all these important questions and many more in this video. Let's start. Like I said, Warren Buffett is investor, businessman, shareholder, philanthropist, financier, billionaire, and many more. He was born on August 30th, 1930 in Omaha, and now he is 92 years old. He is father of 3 children. Each of us know that Warren Buffett is one of the most successful investors in the world. His investment skills made him billionaire. And now is his net worth $102 billion, and this is making him the 5th richest person in the world. But how did he do that? Let's take a look at his path to success. His first little business was when he was 6 years old. And what this business was all about? It was that Warren bought packs of Coca-Cola cans in the city and then sold them outside the city at a 20% profit. Besides Coca-Cola, he also sold chewing gum and magazines door to door. When he was 9 years old, his net worth was $100. In 2022, it is $1,700. Warren's investment career started when he was 11 years. He bought 6 stocks, 3 for himself and 3 for his sister. It was shares of company, City Service. This first investment taught Buffett a lesson, because he bought the stocks for $38. Within a few weeks or months he sold these stocks for $40. Then shortly after the sale, the share price of this company increased by 400%. This was for Warren big lesson, because after this experience he found that the value of the stock may not reflect the true value of the company. This experience marked him very positively, because this experience was one of the many aspects on the basis of which he was subsequently able to analyze the real stock price very well, which subsequently led to one of his greatest investment successes, but more about it later. Another big Warren step was when he was 14. Warren and his friend bought a couple of pinball machines. It's something like slot machine, each machine for $25. Then they deployed these machines to 3 barbershops. These machines were very popular for the visitors of the barbershops. Few months after purchase, Buffett and his friend sold these machines for $1,200. It means that their profit was approximately $1,100. In 2022 it's $11,000. But this business wasn't the only one in his 14 years. In the same year Warren bought 40-acre lot. He bought it for $1,200. In 2022 it's $12,000. The reason why he bought it was that immediately after the purchase, he began renting this land to local farmers. His net worth after this business was $5,500. In 2022 it's $67,500. In 1945 Warren got a little job. The job was to deliver Washington Post newspapers. Within a few months he worked his way up to a position where he was in charge of 50 employees. His monthly salary in this job was $175. In 2022 it's $2,000. It's very interesting, because when we look at the annual median in 2022, then we see that now is annual median $52,000. It means that Warren had a salary, half of today's median, when he was 15 years old. It's very interesting. If you ask, did Buffett manage to study and do all these things at the same time? Answer is, yes, he did. He graduated Woodrow Wilson High School. After finishing high school and finding success with his side entrepreneurial and investment ventures, Buffett wanted to skip college to go directly into business but was overruled by his father. At 19 he graduated in University of Nebraska with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. After being rejected by Harvard Business School, Buffett enrolled at Columbia Business School of Columbia University upon learning that Benjamin Graham taught there. More about Benjamin Graham later. He earned a Master of Science in Economics from Columbia in 1951. After graduating, Buffett attended the New York Institute of Finance. So, this was Buffett's enterprising childhood and education. All these Buffett's investment, businesses and work steps meant that by the time he finished college, Buffett had accumulated $9,800 in savings, about $112,000 today. But what Buffett's business career was like? In Buffett's entire life after graduating from university, Buffett had a total of 3 jobs. First job. Buffett worked for his father from 21 to 24 years at Buffett Falk & Company as an investment salesman. During this job he taking a Dale Carnegie public speaking course. Using what he learned, he felt confident enough to teach an investment principles night class at the University of Nebraska Omaha. The average age of his students was more than twice his own. During this time, he also purchased a Sinclair gas station as a side investment, but it was unsuccessful. Second job. His second job after university was from 24 to 26 years at Benjamin Graham's partnership. His starting salary was $12,000 a year, about $121,000 today. Graham was a tough boss. He was adamant that stocks provide a wide margin of safety after weighing the trade-off between their price and their intrinsic value. In 1956, Benjamin Graham retired and closed his partnership. Shortly, who was Benjamin Graham? Benjamin Graham was a British-born American economist, professor, and investor. He is widely known as the father of value investing, and wrote 2 of the founding texts in neoclassical investing, Security Analysis, in 1934, and The Intelligent Investor, in 1949. Throughout his career, Graham had many notable disciples who went on to receive substantial success in the world of investment, including Warren Buffett. Buffett described him as the second most influential person in his life after his own father. In 1956, Buffett's personal savings were over $174,000, about $1.73 million today, and he started Buffett Partnership Ltd. Buffett Partnership Limited was Buffett's most important step to become millionaire and to his success today. Like I said, Buffett started his partnership in 1956 when he was 26 years old. In 1959, the company grew to 6 partnerships. By 1960, Buffett operated 7 partnerships. In the same year, Buffett asked one of his partners, a doctor, to find 10 other doctors willing to invest $10,000 each in his partnership. Eventually, 11 agreed, and Buffett pooled their money with a mere $100 original investment of his own. Buffett's big investment step that took place between 1958 and 1960, made with the help of his partnership. That step was that 35% of the partnership's assets were invested in the Sanborn Map Company. Buffett found out that Sanborn stock sold for only $45 per share in 1958, but the company's investment portfolio was worth $65 per share. Buffett eventually purchased 23% of the company's outstanding shares as an activist investor. An activist shareholder is a shareholder who uses an equity stake in a corporation to put pressure on its management. Obtaining a seat for himself on the board of directors, and he allied with other dissatisfied shareholders to control 44% of the shares. To avoid a proxy fight is an unfriendly contest for the control over an organization. The event usually occurs when a corporation's stockholders develop opposition to some aspect of the corporate governance, often focusing on directorial and management positions. The board offered to repurchase shares at fair value, paying with a portion of its investment portfolio. 77% of the outstanding shares were turned in. Buffett had reaped a 50% return on investment in just 2 years. In 1962, Buffett became a millionaire because of his partnerships, which in January 1962 had an excess of $7,178,500, of which over $1,025,000 belonged to Buffett. It means that Warren Buffett became a millionaire when he was 32 years old. And in the same year he merged the partnerships into one. Buffett invested in and eventually took control of a textile manufacturing firm, Berkshire Hathaway. He began buying shares in Berkshire from Seabury Stanton, the owner, whom he later fired. Buffett's partnerships began purchasing shares at $7.60 per share. In 1965, when Buffett's partnerships began purchasing Berkshire aggressively, they paid $14.86 per share while the company had working capital of $19 per share. This did not include the value of fixed assets, factory and equipment. Buffett took control of Berkshire Hathaway and transferred a, previously, textile manufacturing company to the insurance sector. Subsequently, he sold off all the property of this company, which was no longer needed because it was for textile purposes. Then he named a new president, Ken Chase, to run company at a board meeting. In 1969, Buffett liquidated the partnership and transferred their assets to his partners, including shares of Berkshire Hathaway. Third job. Next year in 1970, he got his last job as chairman and CEO of Berkshire Hathaway Incorporated. He still does this work today. And what is Berkshire Hathaway? Berkshire Hathaway is a company founded in 1839 by an American businessman, Oliver Chase. The original name of this company was Valley Falls Company. When Warren Buffett took control of this company in 1970, over a large number of years, this fairly small company became a business giant with a capital of $700 billion. And one of the 50 richest companies in the world. There were times when this company was considered one of the 5 richest companies in the world. If we then look at all the publicly traded companies he currently owns and to what extent, we see that the largest companies in which he invests are Apple. Berkshire owns 5.67% of the company. Bank of America. Berkshire owns 11.7% of the company. Coca-Cola. Berkshire owns 9.3% of the company, and Kraft Heinz. Berkshire owns 26.7% of the company. In addition to these and about 30 other publicly traded companies, Berkshire Hathaway also owns about 60 subsidiaries, of 100%, and another 10 subsidiaries it owns a large majority, like 90%, etc. In addition to owning many companies, Berkshire Hathaway has also $24.534 billion in cash and cash equivalents and another $74.803 billion in short-term investments in U.S. Treasury bills. Berkshire Hathaway is also a publicly traded company, whose shares are divided into 2 classes, Class A and Class B. Class A shares have the abbreviation BRK.A. and the current value of one share is approximately $468,000. Class B shares have the abbreviation BRK.B, and the current value of one share is approximately $310. There's almost no difference between the 2 classes except for the price. There may be percentage daily differences between the results of the 2 classes. Class B shares were created in 1996 for the reason that Berkshire Hathaway's previous shares were too expensive, so that even smaller investors had the opportunity to invest in this company. The creation of Class B in 1996 created 517,000 new shares, guaranteeing a price of Class B shares 30 times lower. 14 years later, in 2010, Class B shares were expanded 50 times more, which meant that Class B shares started trading at a price 1,500 times lower than Class B shares. If we look at the exact ratio today, we see that the shares Class A and Class B are still trading at a price 1,500 times different when rounded. I personally consider this company to be one of the most powerful companies ever, because this company owns 170 companies, and that gives this company enormous power, which may not be so obvious. But this company owns companies from almost every possible sector. It means that Berkshire Hathaway affects the events of the entire world. Over the many years that Buffett has built this company into business giant, this company has faced a lot of fines, setbacks, and bad timing. However, it is obvious that compared to the profit it is incomparable. But compared to all that Buffett has achieved, it is really a small fault. and it is clearly visible in the growth of the company's capital. The percentage change in shares of Berkshire Hathaway from the creation of Class A, 1980, until 2022 is 158,637%. It means that if I had invested $1,000 in this company in 1980, value of my investment be $1,586,370 today. This was most important information about Berkshire Hathaway. And, when Warren Buffett became a billionaire? He became a billionaire in 1986, at the age of 56, on an annual salary of $50,000. One of Buffett's great traits was and still is, very much saving and not spending. This trait was one of many that got Warren Buffett to the top, and which made him a billionaire and the fifth richest person in the world. A very interesting decision that makes it clear that Buffett is a philanthropist is that Buffett announced in June 2006 that he would gradually give away 85% of his Berkshire holdings to 5 foundations in annual gifts of stock, starting in July 2006, the largest contribution going to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Next year in 2007, in a letter to shareholders, Buffett announced that he was looking for a younger successor, or perhaps successors, to run his investment business. Conclusion. In this video, you learn the most important things about Warren Buffett. You learned how old he was when he started, and most importantly, you saw all his essential life steps that made him fifth richest person. I hope this video has helped you learn about the lifestyle and mindset of the fifth richest man in the world, and that you take away something from this video that will help you become at least partially successful like Warren Buffett. If you would like to know the essential life steps of other most successful people, then subscribe to this channel so you don't miss another video of this type. Thanks for watching, and until the next video. Bye.